Okay, good morning, folks. Sorry I'm a little behind schedule today. Just had some, life. But I'm happy to be here to share a really simple sequence for managing overwhelm. A lot going on in the world today. So this is something that I've been leading clients through and doing myself for this last season. So I hope it's useful for you. So yeah, if you're watching, just love to see, drop your name in the chat or just so I know who's here, or you can just say hi or whatever. I can't actually see, I can see people watching, but I can't see your names. So yeah, and give a holler if you are working through overwhelming experiences. Morning. Hi. Okay, so we're gonna move through a really short sequence, and I'll say I love doing this to music. I love doing this to music. I don't have I can do that today, but if you do this in the future and want to put on some tunes, I find that to be really helpful. Overwhelm can be one of the freeze emotional responses. So what I have folks start with is a little more activation, a little more vigorous activity. So we're kind of getting your system back on in the flow of the cycle of activation and deactivation. Even though there can be kind of the experience of overwhelm in the kind of buzzing, humming, spinning thoughts. If you were to, many people, if you were to try to support their system to just calm down from that state, their nervous system would be like, what the fuck, you want me to calm down? There's no access to that yet. So sometimes it takes a little bit of activation to sort of sync up with that frequency, and then the system can settle. So we're going to start with some more vigorous activation, which you can do in a couple of different ways. Usually I'll start with rubbing my hands together and doing some wiggles, doing a little bit of shaking, breathing out through the lips. And then I'll usually take my hands either in a pat or in a rub down gesture. You can even do taps, little lighter taps, and just kind of get a feel for what feels good on your skin. So a pat down or a rub down, just like you're brushing all that charged energy. Get your head, your scalp. And if you're going in a more vigorous way and it feels a little oh, that's a little too agitating, you can go slower. It can be more like a massage on your skin, longer, slower movements up and down your limbs. If you are someone who tends to be more light and airy, slowing down that activating movement, those longer, slow strokes might suit your system a little better. But if you are tend towards this kind of stuckness or heaviness, a little more dense, tend towards depression or sluggishness, slow to get going, or that freeze stress response, then a little more vigorous can be helpful. And then I'll do some shaking. So you can get just real wiggly all over. You can shake a limb at a time, legs. No, I know it may look silly or feel silly, and sometimes that's a helpful part of it. Shaking is, one of the trauma recalibration responses that we see in animals in the natural world. Also described as like one of the 7 natural healing mechanisms that we have connection to. So shake, 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 and then I'll usually do like an extra little rub down after that. And this time, starting to slow it down a little. So allowing the systems to sort of crest that state of activation and move more towards more of a deactivated or settling state. So I'll take my hands through in a slower way. And this time really focusing on kind of combing or brushing inward and downward. So the inward and downward gestures starting from the head. And you can even imagine like all of your spinning thoughts just starting to move with gravity inward and downward. A little massage to the shoulders, to the heart and chest. I'll start to come in and move in and down. Any sounds or sighs that want to happen, that's just can be part of that agitated energy releasing. In and down. And I usually like to pause right at the belly and give the belly a good little rub down, even the back of the belly, just feeling that multi-dimensional space of the pelvic bowl. And then this one I've been finding to be really helpful this week. From the belly, I'll just take my hands and like just a slow kind of squeeze down the legs, like all of that excess agitated overwhelm. I'll slide it all the way down like I'm plugging the bones of the legs back into the earth. And you can do that on both sides. That's slow anchoring of the bones of the legs. And see if you can imagine the bones of your legs actually planting into the earth, deep, deep, deep down, going down into the earth like tree roots. And I might take a couple of little squats here, or even just keeping knees bent a little bit so you can really feel the strength of your leg muscles activated. So moving awareness down into the lower body. And even if you then stand more upright, or you can sit down at this point, you can lay down kind of wherever it feels good to take your posture. I think I'm going to stand for the remainder, but I'm just going to keep a little bend in my knees so I can really feel the activation in my legs, the strength in my legs. I can feel my feet on the ground. And still imagining that funnel moving inward and downward, like all of those spinning thoughts moving inward and downward, all of the excess agitation or indecision or overwhelm moving inward and downward, and releasing it back to Mother Earth. And I'll just invite you to imagine a cord from the base of your belly that drops all the way down to the center of the earth. We've done that practice a lot if you've been with me for any amount of time. And from the stability of that cord, just invite you to feel or sense that your body is poised and balanced right over that sweet connection point to Mother Earth. So you almost like, a dancer or martial artist, you could take a step in any direction, forward, back, left, right. And as if you could like think from your feet or think from the cradle of your belly without thinking too hard, like sensing or feeling from the cradle of your belly. Just invite your inner wisdom to tell you or ask your guides to show you like what is my very next step? What's just the very next step? Given this whole perimeter of options, given the sturdiness of the earth that I'm standing on, without thinking too hard, just let the answer be spoken into your system, perhaps by an image, a memory, a word or a thought, a felt sense, a gesture. Is there something that's the just right next thing to do that wants to be known from the ground up, from the floor up, from your belly up? It doesn't have to be a grand next step or a grand gesture. It can be even just where to go in the next 5 minutes, or where to send a prayer today. And then you can really just sit in that space or stand in that space for as long as you need to feel ready then to move into the rest of or whatever is next. So I'll bring us to a close here for now with just one little more wiggle, one little more sigh or shrug. Just offering in that reciprocal way that we're really always in relationship with the web of life, just offering gratitude here for the earth and for all of the guides and guardians who are with us this day. Thank you so much. Thank you to the body, this our home and sweet carrier of our spirit. And thank you to each of you who are watching this with me now. And to folks who will watch it in the future, thank you and blessings to you and yours. Okay, so I'll bring that to a close. And yeah, I'll just invite folks, if you did participate with this, I'd love to hear if you, actually one thing I forgot to ask is, as you're kind of sitting in that final place, like, is there a physical sensation that you can tune into that can be kind of a reminder of that state? Like, is there a pleasant or neutral sensation that can be a reminder of that place of connection? So I'd love to hear, any of your experiences. Good, glad to hear you loved it. Yeah, real sweet. So any messages you got or any sensations in your physical body, please drop that in the comments. Love to hear what your experience is. And if this is useful to you, I think we're going to do, it won't always be a physical practice like this, but we're going to cover some practices around addressing overwhelm for the over the month of May. So tune in next Friday at 11 for round 2. I think I'll be able to keep it consistent enough, but I'll let you know. Okay, thanks everybody. Did it in my work office and feel so grounded and connected to source. Yeah, awesome. Really glad to hear that. Loved it. Good. Yeah, I love that it can be very simple, very short. It's, you do need a little bit of space, but some of that you can do very subtly, like even if you're like standing in line or on the bus or something, just do your little wiggles, push into your feet. Yeah, good. I hope that Sets you up well for the day, folks. Okay, take good care.